What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we're going to talk about a series that is very fitting for the spooky season, and that is Momo The Blood Taker, Volumes 1 and 2. Now, Momo The Blood Taker, the story and art is done by Akira Sugito, and the volumes they are published by Seven Seas Entertainment, which I seem to have a lot of stuff from Seven Seas. Feels like every time I turn around, I'm like, yo, that's Seven Seas, that's Seven Seas, oh, that's Seven Seas as well. So, I have a lot of Seven Seas stuff in my collection. But so Momo the Blood Taker, it is essentially a vampire themed thriller. I guess it's the best way to describe it. Um, Now, the series as a whole is already finished in Japan. Um, it only ran for it was just 9 volumes long with a total of about 96 chapters. So not too bad, not super long. Feels like a great amount of time for a series. And so, like I said, it is a supernatural dark thriller, horror thriller. And on the horror front, they do not hold back. You see all the grotesque brutality, dismemberments, all of that stuff. But uh, our two main characters in this series is the vampire lady herself, Momo Persephone Draculia, and then our detective, Mr. Keigo Mikogami, who is also a older gentleman who is I think Keiko is about 38, I believe is what he said. Which, hey, I'm always down to see some older main characters and some series, especially series like this where it's like a thriller. So yeah. So, and side note, very interesting thing too. Whatever is that, like, I was looking into the author of this series, and the other series that they did was a series back around like 2013 to 2016 called Boku Girl, and it is a etchy romance supernatural comedy. So it is like a whole different vibe from Momo the Blood Taker. So yeah, they wanted, like, you know what, I did an etchy romance comedy thing. Now let's do uh a dark thriller. So the setting for this series is basically our detective Kago. He is trying to track down this vampire that he simply refers to as Mr. Two Face, or the Two Faced Vampire, which that is a picture of him right there. Because 10 years ago, Mr. Two Face brutally murdered Kago's fiance. And I mean, like, no holds barred. Kago came home one day to just a dismembered body. The head is missing. And so for 10 years, he has been trying to track down this vampire. Well, along the way during his investigations, he ends up running into Momo, who ends up helping him out along the way, and they end up forming a uh, a partnership of sorts, which I will get into in a little bit, because I will do a spoiler section in a little bit, but for now I'm staying spoiler free. But but yeah, so this unlikely duo, I feel like I say that a lot, but Momo and Keiko end up teaming up together to try to track down, to take out Mr. Two Face. Now, with this series, one of the things that caught my attention, of course, is the freaking beautiful cover of this series. So, a couple months ago when Volume 1 came out, I was at Barnes& and Nobles, as I always am, just browsing around, just seeing what's new out there, whatever. And so, now I try to stay pretty up to date and current with all the different publishers and stuff of, like, okay, hey, this is what's coming out on the horizon and stuff. But, a lot of times, especially because they announce stuff sometimes like a year ahead, there's a chance that I might have missed this one, or maybe I did see but just forgot. But I remember when I was looking on the shelves, the spine is what initially caught my attention because of the color scheme, and I just see, okay, something just called Momo and some silver haired chick. And then when I pulled it off the shelf and I turned it and I saw this, everything about this cover is stunning and eye catching, from this mysterious girl with the bright yellow eyes to even just the way the lettering of how Momo is split across the cover with Blood Taker in the middle. And if y'all look at the video, y'all also see how the art looks for volume 2 as well. Very stunning, very eye catching. And so when I saw that and then I read the synopsis, I was like, yo, okay, this might be up my alley. And so, yeah, this series is definitely one that is worth reading, especially like I said, especially like this time of month that I'm reading it is very fitting because, like I said, I got volume 1, like I said, maybe back around August, read it, immediately enjoyed it, and I knew volume 2 was coming out towards the end of October. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait till 2 comes out, read both of them, and then do a discussion about it then. And I'm glad I did because um one series, if I haven't mentioned already, forgive me, but that this definitely reminds me of a bit of is Tokyo Ghoul. Just because of how the setting involves with, a detective agency with humans and then a creature of some sort. Instead of ghouls, we're dealing with vampires. And also, across these 2 volumes, we also encounter a special task force that is trained and specializes in hunting down vampires and things of that nature. So that was another little cool thing about it too, whatever. But yeah. So like I said, these 2 characters coming together to try to track down this two-faced guy and to take him out. And another, like I said, like with the art of this series is so good. One of my other favorite panels is just this one inside of a vampire's mouth with all these freaking skulls and stuff inside. It's just like it. I don't know. I just love it. Just enjoy it. But yeah. So if you're into some supernatural type of series, like I said, especially like dealing with vampires, and you want the dark, the gritty, the grotesque, then this is one that I definitely encourage y'all to take a look at and to check out. Um, cause even that first shot there. Now I will say one little pet peeve I do have is that, of course, Momo, she's a vampire. She is hundreds of years old, but they make her look like a child, which they kind of play into the story a little bit because some characters make fun of her because of how young she looks. But certain moments, certain scenes, I'm like, this feels awkward because you look like a kid, even though I know you're hundreds of years old. But that aside, very dope story. But like I said, definitely recommend y'all check this out. Now, I'm gonna dive into a little bit of some spoilers because there are some very important moments that happen in this that I need to talk on, like I said, across both of these volumes. So be wary of spoilers. I'm gonna try not to dive in too deep or whatever, but just for those who might want to go into reading this blind on their own, go check it out. Come back, let your boy know what you think of Momo the Blood Taker. Now, dive into some spoilers. So now, expanding upon the Tokyo Ghoul connection, this series also, our main man Keigo. So the first time, like that panel I showed a while ago, of him encountering Mr. Two-Face, and of course, Mr. Two-Face up here pulling some eyes and stuff, where he is like, "Yo, I have been watching you all these years. All the vampires that you met along the way, I put them there. Everything that you thought that you were figuring out, or whatever, I was strategically moving the pieces or whatever. I could have taken you out anytime I wanted to, whatever, but I wanted to let the blood, just the flavor, just build and ripen over the years, so when I do come for you, it'll be worth it or whatever." So yeah. So he, within a blink of an eye, Keigo's right arm is gone, then his left arm is gone, and he's just chomping into Keigo or whatever. And so he's about to just take him out and kill him. But Keigo ends up lunging at him and taking a bite out of his neck or whatever. And the guy's like, "Hey, I like your spunk, kid." But right at that moment, that's where Momo comes into the story. And she comes down impales him or whatever. But of course, it was just like a clone or whatever. But in this moment is where basically Momo offer him like, "Hey, do you want to live?" And Keigo's like, "Yes, I want to live." And she gives him some of her blood, thus turning him into a vampire. And so now we kind of get Keigo gets introduced into the world of vampires, which we kind of get more into in volume 2, which is pretty interesting because we get to see like all these elite, higher class vampires and stuff. We get to see uh, the king of the vampires, which is also Momo's father, surprisingly, um, and stuff like that. And we also get to see this other older vampire in a wheelchair who, coincidentally, his name is also Robert. Shout out to my fellow Robert vampire. But who is part of the first generation of vampires along with Mr. Two-Face that got blood directly from the king, Momo's father. But uh but yeah, and so that's kind of where Momo and Keigo's partnership starts to develop and stuff, whatever. But man, it was so heart wrenching seeing when Keigo um, went to go investigate this other killing that was happening, and find out that like one of his fellow detectives had got turned into a vampire, and so he ended up having to take the dude out. And the guy was like, "Hey, I didn't want this, whatever, but hey, I'm offering you drink my blood so that you can get my memories," which that's another cool thing. Is like you get the person's memories as you drink their blood. But and then that's where he starts to get, and then that's how Keiko gets more clues about the vampire society and things of that nature. Now, of course, another sad moment or whatever is that like his Keiko had like this kind of like um junior detective that was kind of coming up in the force, had good instincts or whatever. I think his name was like ne- Nakima, something like that or whatever. I can't remember his name. But he walked in and he saw Keigo there holding the other detective with, blood all over his face and stuff, whatever, kind of like half vampire looking. And so now this junior detective got recruited into the vampire killing squad. And so, just like Tokyo Ghoul, I just know there's going to be these encounters that is going to happen eventually between these characters. And I know it's just going to be very tough for when that moment comes. But yeah, but I just enjoyed those moments like that. Um, and yeah, and just Keiko just coming to the reality of like, yo, you're a vampire now. And yo, seeing Keiko fight shoot, I can't remember her name, but that other girl who rolled up with her subordinate or whatever, and just seeing Keiko finally kind of get to like flex his vampire abilities and stuff for the first time, which is like really cool and really dope to see. But but yeah, I look forward to checking out more of Momo, the Blood Taker. If you're still watching this, despite the little bit of spoilers, or whatever, like I said, I highly encourage you to give the series a shot and stuff like that. And I might even give this Arthur's other series, Boku Girl, a shot, because like I said, just to see like how they went from like a comedy etchy series to this dark fantasy horror series or whatever. I'm like, man, I gotta find out like, is there any DNA or similarities or whatever that might have led the connection, or you just like, hey, I just want to do something totally different. But anyway, but Momo the Blood Taker, like I said, published by Seven Seas Entertainment. Um, 2 volumes are out currently as of the time of me releasing this episode, and I look forward to checking out more. Cause like I said, I am very enthralled with these characters and with this world. Cause like I said, like Tokyo Ghoul is a series that I really enjoyed as well, the manga of it, and I look forward to reading more of Momo. But I've rambled on enough. Hopefully, I said something intriguing that makes you interested in checking out this series. But as always, thank you so much for watching and/or listening. Like I said, let me know if you've checked out Momo or if it's on your radar, and let's talk about it. Hit me up on social media. I'm everywhere at Danny's to Talk. Feel free to email me as well. All the information will be in the description box below. And with that, I will catch y'all in the next one. Y'all have an awesome day and week and enjoy the rest of spooky season. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.